SummerSlam 2024 is just around the corner in Cleveland of all places, and with it being the second biggest show of the entire WWE calendar year, there is undoubtedly a lot of expectations for this show. And with WWE turning SummerSlam into a two-night affair akin to something like WrestleMania, we are expecting WWE to come out swinging hard this year. And something that we love to do here on this channel is to try and predict the future, and that's what we're going to be doing here on this video, because we're going to be trying to predict the entire SummerSlam 2024 match card. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm confident that you're going to fall in love with his YouTube channel. Unless you're from Cleveland, you probably have already unsubscribed to this because of that light roasting at the beginning, because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, let's jump into it. But seriously, Cleveland? SummerSlam? In Ohio? Let's start off with a match that is pretty much all but confirmed at this point, and that is the match between the Queen of the Ring winner, Nia Jax, taking on the current WWE Women's Champion, Bayley. Although this match isn't properly confirmed, we know for a fact that Nia Jax does have a WWE Women's Championship opportunity scheduled for SummerSlam. That is concrete. And in the go-home episode to Money in the Bank, she attacked Bayley, more or less telling us and the rest of the world that this is going to be the matchup for SummerSlam. I don't see any tragedies happening between now and SummerSlam for Bayley's WWE Championship reign. I'm confident that she's going to continue to hold this championship all the way through to SummerSlam. I wouldn't be surprised if in the first episode of Friday Night SmackDown after Money in the Bank that they properly announce this for the show. If I can add a bit of extra spice to this, I think that this could be a match where we see a Money in the Bank cash-in from one named Tiffany Stratus. Remember, Tiffany Stratton won the Money in the Bank briefcase. On top of that, she's already good buddies with Nia Jax, so I wouldn't be surprised if Nia Jax, maybe after she loses to Bayley, tees up Bayley for an easy cash-in for Tiffany Stratton. This isn't a predictions video in terms of who's going to win and lose, but that's something to keep in the back of your mind, because last year we had the women's Money in the Bank briefcase be cashed in on at SummerSlam, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do it again. Overall, I don't see any special stipulations for this match being added either. I'm sure it's just going to be a traditional one-on-one match between two veterans of the industry. I'm sure it's going to be a fun match. I just want to see a nice build-up to this, as opposed to just saying, hey, Nia just has this because she won the Queen of the Ring. Like, let's make this exciting. Another matchup that I'm sure is a foregone conclusion at this point. I mean, they freaking burned the Money in the Bank briefcase just to help elevate this match even more, even though I frankly don't think that this match needed any more elevating, considering it's already the biggest feud in the WWE right now. Sue me. That's just my opinion. I have CM Punk, of course, taking on the angry, super pissed off Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. This match has been building for the better part of like 8 months at this point, and it is finally time to make this match happen. Of course, knocking on wood, making sure that CM Punk doesn't get injured between now and SummerSlam is imperative. You cannot miss this match because of an injury, because of an illness. Right now, the feud is so red hot that you need to deliver something soon, and that soon needs to be SummerSlam. Right now, this feud is so big, so good, so red hot that it's probably worthy of closing the show if they really wanted to. Now, I know that a lot of people were hoping for this match to have some sort of violent stipulation, but I don't think that that's going to end up being the case. This is going to be CM Punk's first singles match since coming back to the WWE. He did have that performance in the Royal Rumble. It was actually a pretty long performance in the Royal Rumble, and he did pretty much all of that performance in the Royal Rumble injured, but still, you don't want to throw CM Punk immediately to the wolves with a Hell in a Cell match. They do have a pay-per-view after SummerSlam called Bad Blood that could be a good place to have a Hell in a Cell match. In previous WWE decades, they've done Hell in a Cell matches in Bad Blood, so maybe that's where we get it, but I think that this will just be a traditional match, maybe at best no disqualification, but if it's just a traditional match, I expect the ref to go down at some point or another, because this is going to get violent, and it has to. It cannot just be all about the graps. It can't be about who's the better mat technician. This is a blood feud after all. If I can add some wants to this feud, I want a home invasion angle. I want Drew McIntyre to break into CM Punk's Chicago home, and I need him to punt Larry, and I need him to beat up AJ Lee. Okay, that might have been a bit of a stretch, but I need him in that CM Punk household to create some chaos. Please do not punt Larry or hurt AJ Lee. We like both of them very much. Please, Drew. But yeah, this is another foregone conclusion. More than anything, I just hope that all the pieces fall in place, that everyone stays healthy, and that it happens at SummerSlam, because if it were to happen beyond SummerSlam, I feel like it would lose just too much steam. I think that this next match is also a bit of a foregone conclusion. I'm realizing that a lot of these are feeling a bit obvious because they've done a pretty good job of building SummerSlam feuds going into previous WWE Premium Live events. I feel like you can start to sniff these out, and I think that's a good thing because we have Logan Paul, who is the poster child of this entire SummerSlam show. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets given almost like headliner status because it has Logan Paul, and Logan Paul, is from Cleveland, Ohio via Puerto Rico, but this is going to be a major feud going into the show for the United States Championship between Logan Paul and LA Knight. This is a match that we've been wanting and clamoring for a very, very long time, and this is the championship opportunity that many of us have been wanting and clamoring for LA Knight to get for also a very, very long time. So there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this, of course, a lot of eyeballs on the match, but I think where the eyeballs are really going to get glued to the screen is going to be in the build up to this match, because there's already some pretty decent stuff that has happened, but now we have an entire month to let these two just absolutely torch each other on the mic. These two are some of the best in the business at just trash talking on the microphone. I'm afraid that maybe Logan Paul might be a bit better than LA Knight, and I hope that Logan Paul doesn't end up burying LA Knight like he did poor Ricochet going into last year's SummerSlam, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. But this match, I'm pretty confident that you can call this a concrete thing. Next match really depends on timelines and when we can get people back from injuries. It's the match between Liv Morgan that is just an inevitable destination to go off and face off against Rhea Ripley. This match is going to happen. It's just a question of when. Do they keep Rhea Ripley off of TV long enough for this to be a WrestleMania feud? Because it definitely has the ability to be that. Or is it now the time to bring Rhea Ripley back from this injury so that we can have this match and this feud for SummerSlam? I think that both could work. It really all depends on one person, and that one person is Rhea Ripley, and we don't really have any updates or information on her injury recover. So we'll have to wait and see. I will say, I still think that there is a lot of room for the Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio and Judgment Day storyline to bud and grow even more, to the point where I could see Rhea Ripley skipping this SummerSlam altogether so that that storyline can continue to grow and become even bigger, to the point where this becomes a headlining type of match for something like a WrestleMania. It all depends. When does WWE want to show their cards? Are they willing to show their cards early and give this to us at SummerSlam, or do they want to wait till WrestleMania? When is Rhea Ripley ready to go? We'll see. Monday Night Raw is a few hours after I upload this, because I'm recording this on a Monday morning. So we'll see. It's possible that Rhea Ripley has already come back by the time that you're watching this. But as of the making of this video, we have no information on Rhea Ripley. If she comes back, this match is for sure happening at SummerSlam, though. Next up, we have a match that I think was pretty much made and set in stone, signed, sealed, and delivered at the most recent Money in the Bank WWE Premium Live event, that being Solo Sikoa taking on the WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes. I made a SummerSlam predictions video shortly after WrestleMania, and I said that it was going to be Cody Rhodes versus The Rock. Clearly, that is not the case. I think that we're going to be getting Cody Rhodes versus the false tribal chief Solo Sikoa, and I think that the big plot twist of all of this is going to be the return of Roman Reigns. I don't think that Roman Reigns comes back in the lead up to this. I don't think that makes any sense. I feel like Roman Reigns, if anything, comes back during this match to help Cody Rhodes, or maybe to take out Solo Sikoa during a celebration if they're so bold as to give the title to Solo Sikoa, which I don't see that being the case. Maybe he comes out and takes out Solo Sikoa for losing to Cody Rhodes. Who knows? But I do think in some way, shape, or form, the real tribal chief Roman Reigns will come back at some point during this bout. But with Solo Sikoa being the one to pin Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank, I think you have to make this match happen. Cody Rhodes doesn't get pinned. Like, since coming back to the WWE, you can count the amount of times he's been pinned in one hand. Like, that is a big deal. And because that is a big deal, because Cody is the face of your company, you need to do something with that. And that one thing has to be a WWE Undisputed Championship match. I'm confident that this is going to happen.
This is it. I remember seeing this.
Oh my God, no way.
The production of this is genuinely fantastic. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, dude, this match is great. That, folks, was a preview of this week's Wrestling is Cool Match Club, which is available exclusively over on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week, we're looking at the very first ever Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 21. We're looking at an indie classic between Walter and Will Ospreay. We'll also be looking at the debut of The Fiend Bray Wyatt against Finn Balor at SummerSlam 2019, and the criminally underrated Fatal 4-Way match at SummerSlam for the Universal title between Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe. You're going to be getting these watch-alongs and more, like the Raw review, SmackDown reviews, the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days early, all over on patreon.com/SantiZap. We unfortunately cannot show these on YouTube. It is impossible. The only place to get the watch-alongs is on Patreon. So come check it out. It'll be the top link in the description or the link that's in the pinned comment. I think that you're going to like it, even if you just try it out for 1 month. All right, back to the video. Next up, let's look at the Intercontinental Championship. I feel like you could go one of two routes here, and I'm going to go with route number 2. Of course, you got to have the champion Sami Zayn in here. I don't think that he loses the title between now and SummerSlam. I mean, this guy has been absolutely indestructible, which is why people are getting upset with him and calling him Sammy Hogan, which I think is entirely unfair criticism. And come on, don't be calling him Sammy Hogan. That's so fucking mean. Anywhoozin, you could have a rematch against Braun Breaker, and I think it would be probably justifiable. However, maybe not so much, especially with how clean Sami Zayn beat Braun Breaker. I feel like it makes it a bit difficult of a pill to swallow to just say, hey, let's just run this again. But I wouldn't be upset. If they want to run it again, I'm fine with it. And if they do run it again, let this be the place that Braun Breaker finally wins, okay? However, I think it's going to be choice number 2. I think that this becomes a fatal 4-way match because there's 2 other people looming around the corner that I think would be great additions to this match. The first one is, of course, Sheamus, who has been calling his shot for the Intercontinental Championship for such a long time. I think that maybe this could be a good place for him to win, where he pins somebody not named Sami Zayn, because it seems like WWE doesn't want Sami Zayn getting pinned anytime soon. But I would love Sheamus to be added into this. And the fourth one, depending on if it wasn't for his injury, I might have said Ludwig Kaiser with how this feud was going, but because of his injury, I'm actually going to say Ilya Dragunov, and let's really start to build up the excitement for Ilya Dragunov going into Bash at Berlin, where a lot of people think that he could be taking on somebody like Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe he goes in as an Intercontinental Champion. Who knows? But I love this quadruple. I don't know. What do you call 4 people? I don't know. Group of people. I love this group of people for this match. I feel like they could put on a match of the night clinic. I don't know how you would do this, but I think at some point or another, and I think SummerSlam's a good place, you have to give the Wyatt 6 Bo Dallas a match. They can't just be backstage segments and creepy vignettes and coming out of under the ring to give Michael Cole a box with a VHS. At some point, they need to get in the ring. This is wrestling. And The Fiend debuted at SummerSlam in 2019. Maybe this is where we get the debut of the Wyatt 6 ultimately. Maybe it is SummerSlam. And I think if it is SummerSlam, it's going to be Chad Gable. I think it's going to be Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy of the Wyatt 6 taking on Chad Gable. They've been building this for now the better part of a month at this point. You have to pay it off somehow. You can't just continue to have them spook Chad Gable without this eventually getting to the ring. At some point or another, Chad Gable needs to be able to get his hands on them as well, so that this isn't just a one-sided affair for the Wyatt 6. We'll see. I don't know how they pull this off because of the creepy aura of the Wyatt 6. But again, at some point or another, push is going to have to come to shove, and I think SummerSlam is going to be that shove. I think we got to do Bo Dallas versus Chad Gable. Next up, we have another women's match that I think could be really fun. They kind of teased this at Money in the Bank, and it could be the past gone generation against the new generation. We have Tiffany Stratton, hang on here, I think you're going to like this, against Trish Stratus. Come on, I think this match would be fucking fantastic. They teased this at Money in the Bank when they had the little scuffle back and forth in the back, saying toodles to one another after Tiffany Stratton won the Money in the Bank briefcase. And they even asked Tiffany Stratton at the Money in the Bank press conference after the show if she would ever consider taking on a match against Trish Stratus. And she emphatically said yes, that she would absolutely destroy Trish Stratus. So that to me is enough to say that the seeds have been planted. On top of that, we know that Trish Stratus can go. This isn't like, ooh, could she? We are less than a year removed from her match of the year contender at Payback against Becky Lynch. And in my opinion, if she's having match of the year contenders with Becky Lynch, she could have another one with somebody that I think is even better than Becky Lynch in the ring, and that is Tiffany Stratton. I feel like these two would just be such a compliment to one another. So I would love to see it. I'm here for it, and I think everyone in this planet would love and clamor to see Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. Thank God it's not the Ruthless Aggression era and we don't have Jerry the King Lawler on commentary, because he would go absolutely bananas during this match. I can't have a SummerSlam without Randy Orton. I mean, I know that this guy has been losing every single WWE Premium Live Event match, but he's got to be on SummerSlam in some way, shape, or form. I know that not everyone that might be on the show is on this list. Like, I couldn't find something for Kevin Owens. I'm sure he's going to be on the show in some way, shape, or form, but I think Randy Orton is bound to have a singles match on this show, and I think it's going to be against Jacob Fatu. We saw a bit of a shock and awe moment at the Money in the Bank 6-man tag match between Jacob Fatu and Randy Orton, and I would love for them to explore that a little bit more. On top of that, I just think that it would be a banger of a match. It's a great excuse to give Jacob Fatu a big name opponent, a big name opponent that he can showcase his awesome skill set on, and this is just a great excuse to have Randy Orton have a banger match against an awesome opponent. I don't have a lot to go off of aside from that tiny little moment at Money in the Bank, so we'll see if in future episodes of Friday Night SmackDown, maybe they start building this a little bit more. But in some way, shape, or form, you gotta have Randy Orton, and I feel like you gotta have your new shiny toy in Jacob Fatu that everyone has been gooing and gawing over. And the last match that I have on this list has to be the match for the World Heavyweight Championship. You already know it's likely going to be Damian Priest, who, I gotta be honest with you, I am beyond shocked has been able to keep a hold of that World Heavyweight Championship. I feel like that World Heavyweight Championship has been trying to leave him for the past 3 months, but he continues to hold on to it in some way, shape, or form. So I gotta respect him from continuing to be a fighting champion and continuing to still be champion when he's been facing people that so many people were confident were going to beat him. Of course, it's gonna be Gunther. Gunther has the guaranteed championship opportunity from winning the King of the Ring tournament. I still think that this is a weird dynamic, so I'm gonna toss in one more person because he's returned and he looked amazing, and I don't think you can have a SummerSlam without him. Seth frickin' Rollins. Seth frickin' Rollins looked like the 2015 version of Seth Rollins in that match against Damian Priest at Money in the Bank. He looked so good, but he's got all the excuses in the world that he was screwed over, that he wasn't the one that was even pinned in his own world championship match. So he's got every reason to complain to Adam Pearce to be added to this match, or maybe earn himself an opportunity to be added to this match. On top of that, we still have unfinished business after that stare down a few months ago before WrestleMania between Gunther and Seth Rollins that I would love to see unraveled a little bit more. And if the plan is not to do Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov at this year's Bash at Berlin, maybe a good consolation prize would be Gunther versus Seth Rollins at Bash at Berlin. I think everyone would clamor to see that. All right, folks, those are my predictions. Now it's time to give me yours. I also think that there might be a John Cena match, but I think he might still be filming Peacemaker, so I didn't give him one in this. But if you think that Cena's going to have a match, let me know down below. That's the question for this video. But okay, that's it. Bye-bye. I'm done. Get out of here.